we're talking about how do you know? So you will always have some symptoms. And the most common symptom is that when ruqya is done, Quran is recited, adhan is heard, then some type of reaction will occur. This is the most common way to detect if sihr has been done. That constant Quranic recitation and constant listening to the adhan should have some type of impact. And the worse the magic, the more immediate the impact. Okay? The worse the sihr, the more immediate the reaction to the sihr. And the more slight the sihr, the more prolonged. Again, I had to skip over a lot of stuff, but there are many types of sihr. And there's sihr that's so trivial that you hardly even know it, and it takes weeks even to figure out it's there. And then there's sihr that you simply, bring the person in front of the one who's doing ruqya, and you see it right then and there with your eyes that this person is freaking out. So it's without even saying Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, without even saying anything, the person starts reacting just by seeing it, because it knows that you're going to recite on it. So it starts going berserk. So the point is, you can tell by Quranic recitation, by adhan, and seeing the impact. Another way to tell is that, as we said, inexplicable symptoms, i.e. beyond understanding. And that is that, for example, I give you a number of examples, that a person is tripping, and this is something I dealt with multiple times. Like he's, mashallah, tabarakallah, 30, 40, 50 years, he's not like a 2-year-old toddler. And for no reason, he's falling on the stairs, he's falling in the streets, he's falling, and he's like, I don't understand. And he said, I feel something. So a normal person who's healthy and whatnot is not just going to be slipping and tripping, and then he says, it's as if somebody pushed me. So there is something supernatural, right? Something beyond what you understand. And I also gave the example of going to the doctor, and the doctors are all scratching their head. Everything seems normal to us. We don't understand why. For example, a pain, and the pain is typically in the stomach or in the head or something, and the doctor's like, we're doing the MRI, we're doing the scanner, we're doing this and that. Nothing is there. So anytime the doctor has a diagnosable disease, it cannot be sihr. Because by definition, if it's a diagnosable, so the jinn does not give cancer. Okay? Cancer is a disease. The jinn does not create microbes or viruses and throw them in the body, right? If the doctor can say, oh, he has this virus, there's no jinn involved. Okay? So for a jinn to be there, for sihr to be there, has to be something above and beyond our regular realm. And many of us, and some of you doctors, have also dealt with these cases where the doctors just don't understand why this is happening. Especially when it comes to marriage, because the most common type of sihr is breaking up a marriage. The most common type of sihr is breaking up a marriage. And this is by the testimony of the Quran. يُفَرِّقُونَ بِهِ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَزَوْجِهِ. So, couples having intimacy problems that doctors just don't seem to understand why. That you seem normal, the arousal is normal, let's say, in the man, only except when he wants to come to his wife, then all of a sudden he feels weird, or he feels a headache, or a lot of times there's a physical push, like literally a push back, and there's nothing you can see there. So these are all supernatural symptoms that the doctor is like, you're nothing wrong with you. But for some reason, or also another sign is that anger or depression that is extreme and was not common before a certain incident. Now, some people have bad tempers. If they've had bad tempers their whole lives, there's no sihr. Okay? But some people are, mashallah, tabarakallah, very calm, very good. Then instantaneously, they just flip. And for the last year or 2 years, they seem to be a different person. Now, this is very common. If you hear somebody say, he seems to be a different person for the last, we went to our home country. This is very common. We went to our home country ever since we came back. He seems to be a different person. This, now warning bells go off in my head when I hear this. Okay? That this is not the regular habit of this man. As we said, some people have temperaments. So if a person is known to be of evil temperament, Okay, that's the way some people are. But if somebody has a change that is overnight, and it must be instantaneous because sihr is always instantaneous, right? That extreme depression, extreme anger, and these are the two main symptoms in terms of psychological, then we can diagnose further and read Quran and see what is happening. Another sign of sihr is unnatural aversion to a specific person or place that would not typically have been there. Okay? And again, if sihr is done between two people, so let's say a marriage was mediocre, right? Most marriages are okay, good, alhamdulillah. Instantaneously, the wife notices that my husband is never, ever nice to me, around me, wants to be away from me, whereas he wasn't like this for 10 years of the marriage. And always in a bad mood, always angry, always cursing, and yet he seems to be normal, not in my vicinity. Now, if this is an instantaneous change, because let's be honest here, sometimes a husband does not like his wife, and then things go sour, they go down south, okay? But we are talking about an instantaneous change. That's the key point here, that everything seemed to be normal, then somebody visited, or we went somewhere, or that, and now the two of them are not getting along. And again, it seems unnatural, like the wife saying, I didn't do anything. Or it could be the other way, the husband saying, I didn't do anything. And my wife is just, for some reason now, for years now, for months now. And again, one incident, don't think of sihr. One incident is everybody's marriage, right? We're talking about a continuous stream that never has an exception. I.e., always there's going to be a problem. For months and months and months. Then one can think about, and also, by the way, there's always going to be other symptoms, always. Of those symptoms also as well is change in sleeping habits or eating habits. Again, this is a sudden change. So, for example, he used to like heavy foods, and all of a sudden he doesn't want to eat rice or meat, and he only wants to eat, let's say, vegetables, let's say, right? That would be a big change for me, for example, okay? All of a sudden, give up all meat, la hawla quwwata billah, right? And just become a strict, vegan, yes. Without any reason, not that if he's talking about, I want to lose weight, I want to go, obviously we understand. Again, we're talking about inexplicable, okay? One case that I dealt with that the person would literally have one meal a day of just leaves and broccoli, and that's it. Whereas before this was a young man, he would be eating like young men, 3 full meals. Whereas instantaneously, the mother's saying like, whatever food I give him, it comes back untouched. He doesn't want to eat anything. And staying the night awake and going to sleep right before Fajr is another sign as well. That you cannot sleep at night. Tossing and turning at night, and then right before Fajr, dead out for the most of the day. Because the shayateen go to sleep before Fajr. The shayateen go to sleep before Fajr, and they are active and awake at night. So a person who's always, he used to have a regular sleeping habit, then all of a sudden, and again, it must be instantaneous. If there's a change in habit, obviously that's natural, but instantaneous change in habit. So again, these are all symptoms, and typically there's multiple. Rarely do you come across only one. Typically there's multiple of these symptoms. One of the most important symptoms is dreams. Dreams. It is rare, very, very rare to meet a person that has sihr who doesn't have bizarre dreams. This is one of the biggest warning signs. When I hear it, one of the first questions I ask is, what are your dreams? Tell me about your dreams. The ones that are the most awkward, the most embarrassing, the most vivid, you're not supposed to tell publicly, but tell me because I need to diagnose you as a person who's doing it. So you hear the most vulgar or the most bizarre or the most frightening. And especially, and I say this, so here's another point. We need to differentiate between our imagination and between reality. So when I say this and all of a sudden tonight you have this dream, then this is your imagination. Okay? So I'm being very blunt here. To feel as if there's a pressure on your chest and you can't breathe at night. To see yourself being attacked by snakes, scorpions, black dogs, lions. to feel asphyxiated, to feel a presence, you know, the sixth sense that they say, to feel a presence, that I can feel there's somebody here and there's nobody there. These are all symptoms that are pretty common when it comes to sihr. And again, typically there's more than one of these symptoms that takes place. If you don't have any of these symptoms and you're just having a bad business luck or bad streak of marriage, don't think of sihr. Think of improving the marriage by making the biryani better. I don't know. I mean, something, you know, something's got to be done. But let's not go that far. The problem comes that many of us want an easy solution. Oh, somebody else did it. No, all of us have our issues, our ups and downs, our businesses, our children, all of us. Unless you see some clear symptoms that are just on this list and you just don't understand, right? Then do not jump to the issue of sihr. If you feel there is sihr involved, then start reading Quran and see the effects. Start reading Quran, because you don't need to go to anybody. You can do it yourself. Start reading Quran extra and giving the adhan in your house and praying and whatnot, and see if there's an effect. If there's no effect at all and nothing changes, then this is nothing to do with sihr. It's just, again, the natural ups and downs of life.